All right, this is Nostrovini in the midnight, past, very almost past midnight, dissertation about the post, speaking as the voice of the people. Now, as the eyes and the lights in here are not so good, I'm gonna choose to wear my glasses, which will obscure my green little eyes. I'll go back and forth. Let's see. Yeah, see what we do. Doesn't add up. Well, as everybody knows, the New York City teachers union, those teachers of New York, are the most highest paid teachers in maybe in the country. But the results of their incredible skills as teachers is not being you uh, coming out in the students' grades. In other words, our teachers in New York City are lousy. The New York City teachers. Not good. Not good. You're not getting much for your buck. So the teachers unions, they want more money. In fact, one of the commercials they always have, well, teachers, oh, they work so hard. You know who works hard? Firemen. Firemen work. Good old firemen. They run into burning buildings. They rescue the babies and the people and maybe the pooty cats. Maybe they go up a tree up there where the cat is stuck there. He's a hardworking man. And the police are hardworking men. For the most part. I mean, there's the old fable that the one guy, up only got to shoot his gun off once. He seems to have to wrestle with the riffraff. They have to deal with a certain element. They're the Praetorian Guard that keeps us guarded from the savages, the lunatics, the criminals. What the teachers do. They nursemaid the goddamn criminals. And they justify their existence. And the criminals, they produce a certain amount of criminals because they let bad kids in school beating people up, beating even the school teachers up. And then the good students, when they go, they'll be looking like, oh my God, I have to watch out for this predator. And it's the time that the predator is at his prime in school, where his bullying can work. And for a short period of time, when he becomes in the world, he becomes a thug for the local crime kingpin. That flips out over egg-shaped yourself. Now, apparently, we're being observed by Asians, not Asian, maybe Asian. It might be the red Chinese, or it could be an alien race observing us from afar, not landing near flying eggs. It's an egg-shaped flying saucer, but observing us, much like we observe ants. Why don't they mix it in words? Why don't they come here and you know, impart some of their wisdom, this alien wisdom that comes from being so advanced in terms of us. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're afraid. You ever think of that? They think they're gonna go down there, it's just neutral Omaha, and we're gonna see them, and we're gonna eat them. Or maybe they want to eat us. People disappear all the time. We might be a lunch break for these guys. And don't forget the anal probe, the classic anal probe. It might be a perfect trip out of space. We don't know. We don't know what's going on there. All I know is they're getting cutie, the government, saying, well, it's nothing to worry about. No, hey, don't do that. Don't, what are you doing? Don't fall off there. Uh, get, oh, get the tech out of here. Well, Biden had the tech giants in his pocket. He was threatening them and also utilizing them to make the false classic TikTok, I mean, videos that said that COVID was a real disease that could have wiped us all out, that we should have all used the vaccine. The vaccine will be ostracized from society. Uh, Hunter Biden's alleged laptop that was allegedly made by the Russians. Total hoax. It was real. He was a real junkie, and he's the bagman for his father, the criminal. That's the truth. Now, his father's actually he gave himself a bond, as well as half the population of the Biden family. Look at that. Now Biden's a little crybaby. And they say, "Oh, but Trump is making an alliance with the tech giants." Of course, he knew he outwitted, he outbeat the tech giants, and the tech giants know, hey, Trump. They may have all the technology there. They may own the means of communication, but my friend Trump has all the guns, as Biden too. But Trump is he don't play by no rules that are are geared against him, and he's trying to save the country from the communist Bolsheviks who have infiltrated every aspect of our society. True. Let me think here. FBI just says DEI office. This is another thing. The FBI, the the FBI, the internal force of BI was the instrument of like the KGB. It's an instrument of the Reds. They were investigating Christians and born agains and right wingers and conservatives. But they were going to the BLL and the Black Lives Matter people and Antifa, not investigated it. And they were saying the greatest threat in the world for this country was white supremacy. Well, but there was no evidence of white supremacy about white terrorist organizations. Plenty of left-wing terrorist organizations who were beating the crap out of people on the campuses. This is true. But now they're getting rid of the DEI officers in the FBI. They're no longer having these menageries being trained and recruited in order to facilitate a KGB kind of situation. The FBI will be all like it used to be, a conservative sort of organization, like in Jehu. Well, then we know he never did something like that. At least it was right way. On 1007 was a miracle. Now, this is what we're dealing with these hummus people. And then when they say hummus, I don't mean the delicious luncheon meat. Oh, paste. I love that part. Every time I say hummus, I think of the paste that tastes great. They really are one of the most ruthless, overtly organizations in history of mankind. What he said was a miracle. That was a miracle they could brutalize women and rape them and murder them and babies and old people and just kill innocent people like it was impunity. They were under orders to do that. That was a miracle. It was a miracle that you could get some psychopaths, psychopaths together to do one of the worst atrocities in microcosm and I ever heard about. And you advertise it around the world. Look what I did. You know, even the Nazis and the KGB and all the Padat and all these guys, they tried to hide what they did. They denied all of that. It was a disease that happened, you know, in the place there. And the KGB hasn't acknowledged it to this day. They say Gulag Acapulco. No, those guys went to justice. No, this is unbelievable. And they're being wiped out by the Israelis, and the Israelis justifiably wiping them out. But now, how can they destroy them? That's the thing, because it's like a cancer. Cut out the cancer, more cancer grows back. But the Israelis can buy time. They can buy time, and maybe they can break the will of Hamas or the Palestinians that live there, that they'll no longer indirectly support Hamas. The only Hamas that'll be there is the delicious food that is Hamas. Let's see here. Pro Gaza Journal. But this guy, he's screaming genocide in Gaza. There's no genocide in Gaza. Plenty of Palestinians. They're not wiping them off the face of the earth. Now, there's genocide with the Gazans or the Palestinians or radical Palestinians or the Hamas supporters. They want to kill all the Jews. Not only all the Jews in Palestine, all the Jews in the world. They don't want to confine themselves to that. They're beating up Jews in all the metropolitan areas. Now, my humble opinion, I would deport them all. First, before you deport them, beat the shit out of them. If they burn American flag, get them on the gulag Acapulco. So I'm not tell little shenanigans for a little while. I'll show them. Yeah, you can learn lessons from Stalin. Counselor, ah, Mr. Adams, our illustrious mayor who likes Turkish food and fights the Turkey and is corrupt and his whole administration is corrupt. One good thing about him, he stood up for New York in terms of the hordes of illegals coming in. He complained to Biden they weren't doing anything about it. Of course, that meant that the Biden administration, which weaponizes the Justice Department, started investigating. Yeah, if I were him, if I were Trump, I don't know what I'd do. Give him a pardon? Yeah, and maybe that'll help the other guys that are going to go to jail or if they defend the whatchamacallits, the uh, the sanctuary cities, because you got to have put the squeeze on them. This is very difficult because I live in sanctuary city, and the only way you're going to break it is if you cut off all federal funding for that city while they are sanctuaries. And you send the cops, the ICE people, and they beat some crap out of anybody in this city, and they will arrest the mayors if they stand with them. The guy in Chicago, let him do some time. Yeah, yeah, he could play him or his bad rendition of Martin Luther King. New press mugs. New press mugs. Yeah, they showed the president. All the presidents were there when they had the funeral for Jimmy Carter. They were looking at each other. They're nice. And everybody's trying to be friendly, trying to be civil. And they were. In fact, Obama, who's been trying to destroy Trump from the get-go, was actually laughing and having a good time. Of course, he might have been saying, "Hey, I'm not, gonna get unhitched from Michelle." And Michelle didn't even want that because she don't like Donnie. Because Michelle likes to play the victim, even though she comes from privilege all her life and say how hard it was. And the first time she was proud to be American when her husband was American president for a century ago. Michelle is one of the worst people in the world. Michelle might be a Mike, according to Rome, but that's not true. She's all woman. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Is that it? Anyways. Seeing this is what it's happening. A lot of liberals in California are turning uh, from blue to red because they're all red fish. Their houses burned down because they're such environmentalists in California that they didn't water their city properly because the little fishies don't want to kill because they don't want to disturb tribal lands. I don't know, some stupid thing. Anyway, now those fishes are dead and the top lands are buried under ash. It's sad. What you have going on? Squares off Nancy Pelosi. What a piece of work she is. She stabs Joe Biden in the front. She stabs him in the back. And she forces him to not be running for president no more. And Joe he's seen as a piece of wood. But he don't want to go. He wants to go and fight Trump. He's the only man who did it so far. No, I think COVID did Trump in. Not you, old man. Anyway, old man Biden had exposed himself as near vegetable during the debates. So they had to replace him with the affirmative action gal, Harris. So Nancy indirectly said, "Hey, you get out or you lose everything." Well, Biden was stubborn. His wife wanted him to stay in because she's a power man herself. And it was a ladies' night out, and then there was a witch. All the what happened was this: Nancy, after she stabbed him and he went down, she was bold, yeah, him a little bit, made him want to feel better after that humiliation, and said, he's one of the greatest presidents in history. He should be on Mount Rushmore. Should take Teddy Roosevelt down and put his head up there. Well, it's about much greater activity going on in Joe Biden's head as one of the mountain men and Mount Rushmore, and then now they're all ripping each other apart. Meanwhile, AOC, little commie, the Bolshevik ladies rubbing their hands together, waiting for these little old ladies to have another broken hip. She fell on and broken hip on the Pelosi. It's like the mummy's tomb going on there. But not with, and then you say, well, Trump is old, but he's a vital old man. He can last forever. The man is a god. Now look at this. Cartoons and child porn pop. There's a guy. He made nasty cartoons about Mr. Trump. As Trump has good luck, his enemies seem to have bad luck. This African American artiste was found in child porn. Even for liberals, this is a bridge too far. They'll probably make, maybe not. They may be into the porn for child porn. It's certainly the Disney Channel is doing a little uh, porno stuff, or it's exposing children to pornos or perversions. Craving, carry on till the end. Yeah, carry on, my liberal friends. Scream and holler, how can it be that you're gonna lose to the conservatives and populism is gonna prevail? Oh, hey, Mr. Trump. Oh, hey, the man in the white horse. Our alabaster master has come to town, and he's gonna round up all the swells of bells. Pearls do have favorites in such. Oh, how is doing? The kid that the most proud of, the kid that represents favorites. The one all men are created equal. They're not even created equal in their families. Aesthetically and pleasing people will do better. And that's why I say kids, men, boys, girls, keep them looking good, dressed well. And these superficial things, better than character, will get you hobnobbing with the swells. Okay, rap battles. Ah, this is interesting. Buster Rhymes and sort of another guy who's about my age, beating people up. They're beating their basically one of their assistants. Now, the assistants are young people, and Buster Rhymes, if he busts somebody in the head, he might break his hand, he might break his hip. But he's about as old as I am. And I'm old. But Bus still thinks he's 16. Yes, he's from the hood. He hasn't been in the hood so long. The closest thing he came from the hood is wearing a hood lately. He does. Hmm, hmm. Mhm. Yeah, I think I did enough for today. I did too bad. I'm gonna do more later on. Close the door behind me and blah blah blah. Okay, here we go. I don't look so bad for a man of my years. A man who's been had a flu, and a broken leg, and not broken. Oh, it feels like it's broken leg. This is slip discs. Oh, there we go. See back there? That's Trumpy. I love you, Mr. Trump. Even though economically It shouldn't be, but I love you, Mr. Trump. Or you will save this nation from the Bolshevik horde. This tomorrow night, you'll round up all the riffraff in town. Tomorrow night, and when you do, I'll be so proud of you. Oh, yes, indeed. You're the right wing man for me.